particularly the prosecution. Particularly the prosecution. Particularly the prosecution.
Verdict is in, folks. We're going to cover it. We'll talk about it. Hopefully, we get everything we want. I'll give you some perspective. And I'm just getting it all up. I wasn't expecting to come on. I kind of had a feeling it was going to drop at around 6:30, but no. We'll get her going. Hang tight. Share it out. Of course you don't feel good about this. Nobody's going to feel good about this until we get an answer. Let's wait and see. I'll give you some perspective, some thoughts. Wimkin, I hope that we can stay live, y'all. We'll do our best. I don't think we've fixed it yet. Let's cross our fingers that we have. Welcome to the show. We will not be monitoring Wimkin. I don't think we can. Actually, hold on. Let me see if I can get monitored on here. All right, we'll be right back, everybody. We will be right back. And don't worry, folks, we're going BAU, business as usual here. We'll do the intro. There's nothing new. We're on a holding pattern, so you're not missing anything. Just stay tuned. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, start agreeing me. 'Cause I'm everything you want. Damn, show what you need. I won't tell no lies. Back up on the facts be true. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's dad. Come here, I can't hear you. Okay, talk to them. Winkin just died. Tell him Winkin just died. God darn it. Pardon for the blasphemy, folks. We're trying to figure out around Wimkin. It's huge. We had like 20,000 views last night, and it's a huge platform, but it keeps disconnecting. We can't reset, unfortunately. So hopefully some of the Wimkin people can come on over here. But yeah, I'm talking to Jason. It just ended. No idea what's going on.
Hey gang, Dominic Izzo, host of the Rants of Izzo show here on Spreely TV, reminding you, watch my friend Matt Spear on the Dumb Show daily as well here on Spreely TV. You're going to get talk, news, trending politics, all social issues, everything entertaining and engaging and educational. Do it. Watch it. The Dumb Show, Spreely TV, home of free speech. Speak freely here at Spreely. Pretty damn cool. Spreely TV and the Dumb Show.
Supposed to have some music here.
With your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Sorry, we're trying to. I've got people talking to me who are involved in the trial, like in the area. I've got Jason over at Hi Whitney. Jason over at Wimkin is trying to get us on, but we can't get back on, so we're here. I will not restart it. I will not restart it. We did that last night as a test. We're just going to keep the show where it's at. We will not have a 7:00 show. This will take us through. So here, let's get you caught up. The verdict has been reached. It is confirmed. There was some scuttlebutt around 4:10, 4:15 that a verdict had been reached, but nobody knew for sure. It is now 100% confirmed that it's been reached. Mershon is back on the bench at this point. If he's back on the bench, that means the jury will be brought in, and then overall, the verdict will be read, and then we should have it in a matter of moments. This is not a request from the jury. It shouldn't be to show that they've haven't been able to come to a conclusion or a decision, because it's way too early. I mean, they're 12 hours in a deliberation. It's day 2. There's no way. The judge would just simply send them back. And this judge most assuredly would send them back and then probably give them a lecture on how the crime doesn't have to be real. They just have to make it up in their mind. And as long as they do that, wink, wink, go ahead, everything will be fine, like he did yesterday or this morning. It's possible that there is a mistrial. There very well could be. It could be that there is a juror who has said, with no equivocation, that he is innocent. We can go through this for a month. I've decided, and it's over. If that's the case, we could have an acquittal. A mistrial is where they can't come to a decision. And that does not look like a mistrial. So I misspoke. Chance of acquittal is possible. Chance of a mistrial, not very likely. Once again, a mistrial would be that a decision can't be made from the group. If you have 11 people who believe one thing and one person who says no. Now, according to this judge, he changed the rules and said as long as 4 votes happen in the positive on one charge, and that is equivalent to 12 votes in the affirmative, then which is stupid. I'm sporadic here. I apologize. I'm trying to reel it in, but I know a lot of you have probably watched the show over the last few days, so you know my shorthand. If you don't know my shorthand, I apologize. This is all very quick. The judge is addressing the courtroom right now. My understanding is 100% a verdict. We will know shortly. Now, a lot of people are like, there's a verdict sheet. So that's filled out, and that's ultimately what the judge or the foreman reads, and it's the judge or the head juror. In this case, the judge will probably read the verdict sheet. A lot of people are saying, well, there's like 31 charges. Shouldn't this take a long time? No, considering that it's pretty much the same charge, just multiple redundancies of charges added to this for dramatic effect, as we know. So, a lot of people are saying, I'm worried. This is bad news. Not necessarily. The things that they asked for were important to me because They wanted to be clear what their job was to do and what parameters they could either convict or not convict. The next thing that recanting the testimony when they asked for specifics about the judge's instructions, where they were told that they could dismiss testimony if they found a witness not credible, and then wanted to hear that testimony again. That's important. The fact that they went back to 2015 and wanted to hear that specific testimony leads me to believe that they were just from my, this is speculation purely, is that they were unsettled on whether this was election interference or not. And I think that's the coup de grace, right? That's going to be the kit and caboodle, so to speak. Is Cohen's testimony viable? That's, I think, something they're working on. And then obviously, was it election interference? The problem is that they didn't have an election witness who could explain if it was or was not. That judge wouldn't allow that. So I think there's so much ambiguity in this that reasonable doubt is fairly certain. My gut, though, is there's going to be some guilt associated with this. Let's watch it. Let's get it. Yep, guilty and count one automatically. Count two, guilty. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at him. Let's listen to this. Fuck. This is going to be bad, folks. Let me get this on here for us. Hold on. And I will rewind it. Oh, come on. Work. There it is. Oh, what? Is it always the way this is? 2 guilty charges. Guys, let's let the show play out. We don't need people, just let the show play out, please. There's no reason to try to do that, and let it play out.
Andy, where we go from here, obviously there will automatically be
who represent their client
All right, let's
properly.
listen.
And most important is the fact that, the bringing into testimony of the fact that Michael Cohen is guilty of a federal election law violation and that David Pecker had a non-prosecution agreement as it relates to the federal
All right, we'll go over what
law.
happens
And
after
the
this. Just
judge
everyone
says,
just relax.
I
Let's
let these
listen.
in because they go to credibility and because they give you context.
I apologize, folks. I'm trying to, my stupid window. I've got it all recording, but technology, seriously. Ugh, come on. Hey, Liv.
in key places.
Okay, so we want to bring in Trey Gowdy as join us as well.
Are you on?
Federal prosecutor,
Fubo, turn
as
it off.
well. You've
Are you on TV right
guilty
now?
on all
Okay,
34
don't be on
charges.
TV right now.
That is
I
where
can't
we
hear
are
you.
at. The
You gotta-
jurors,
yeah,
it
just don't
looks
be on
like
TV
we're
right
going
now.
to leave for the day. Suddenly we get this verdict. It is 34 guilty counts on all of this. I want to bring in Andy McCarthy, who's here with me, Judge Janine as well, and Trey Gowdy. Andy, where we go from here, obviously there will automatically be an appeal from this Trump team as quickly as possible. There's the legal issue of sentencing to come. That's going to take maybe months to get to a pretrial report on this.
Folks, I'm going to shut this down because it is it's bugging out where I can't control and pause or anything else. So just bear with me, okay? Something is there's a conflict. I haven't seen this before from my system, but something is very strange. And it happened last night. Now it's happening now, but I've never had a problem streaming this. So let's make sure we just.
Suddenly we get this verdict. It is 34.
All right, so I'm going to put it back to where we were.
President Trump would be considered 20 19 guilty. Remember, we have 34 here, 20 guilty. And again, these counts were very similar. What they were looking at, it was different occurrences essentially of the same crime, a misdemeanor that was elevated
all counts guilty
by being
right
linked
now
to a felony, to an underlying crime. We are now 24 counts in, all guilty from inside. This is what we are hearing from our producers, up to 26 guilty. Now remember, each of these counts could maximum have 4 years in jail. President Trump would be considered a first-time offender. These are non-violent crimes. So it seems that it is unlikely
unreal.
the judge would sentence him to prison, but we are now up to 31 counts guilty out of 34. 32 guilty, also coming in from inside the courtroom. Our producers now saying 33 and 34. They're saying guilty on all 34 charges. That is where we are at. The jurors, it looks like we're going to leave for the day. Suddenly we get this verdict. It is 34 guilty counts on all of this. I want to bring in Andy McCarthy, who's here with me, Judge Janine as well, and Trey Gowdy. Andy, where we go from here, obviously there will automatically be an appeal from this Trump team as quickly as possible. There's the legal issue of sentencing to come. That's going to take maybe months to get to a pretrial report on this and then to a sentencing by the judge. And he reminded the jurors he's the one who decides. But we have the reality now of a former president for the first time being convicted on 34 criminal counts, guilty on all of these counts, whatever conflict or confusion or questions the jury had. They got that information back to them this morning, and by the end of day 2 of deliberations, we're at 34 guilty counts for the former president of the United States of America.
It's a historic trial of a former president of the United States by his partisan adversaries. Whatever you think of the results, it's inconceivable in New York that anyone else other than Donald Trump would ever been indicted in this way by Alvin Bragg, the elected progressive Democratic district attorney who campaigned on the fact that he would go after Donald Trump, that he had a history of going after Donald Trump. This is a very political exercise, and you have to say that it accomplished what it set out to accomplish. What they wanted was to have a situation where they could call Donald Trump a convicted felon in the run-up to the election. We have an elected Democrat who got that accomplished. He got a very friendly judge who ruled his way on every important thing and turned the jury instructions into a roadmap to conviction. So now I assume, with the mission having been accomplished, we'll have more procedural rights.
Kerry says Whitney Wheatley, highly doubt he will get jail. At this point, no, everything's out the window. Nope. I would have agreed with that yesterday. I would have agreed with that 6 months ago, 10 years ago, 20 years. Not now. No, not after this. To be guilty on all counts. You should absolutely, there is no reason for anyone to be certain or sure or anticipatory in a positive way to assume that he's not going to prison. In fact, now I feel pretty confident that he will. Like, at least for a short period of time. I wouldn't put it past this judge. Is there anything that would make anyone feel that there is any hope that they're not going to try to throw him in prison? I mean, it's, oh God. It's crazy.
Ruled his way on every important thing and turned the jury instructions into a roadmap to conviction. So now I assume, with the mission having been accomplished, we'll have more procedural regularity, Shannon. As you just said, there'll be a pre-sentence investigation. There should be a sentencing scheduled, and we'll go from there. But this case will be appealed, and I hope that there'll be more fairness and equity in the appeal than there was in the trial.
And Trey, when these counts, this indictment first came in, there were a lot of people across the political and legal spectrum who said this feels like the weakest case against President Trump. Something changed along the way. How much of this had to do with the guidance from Judge Merchan, whether it was the jury instructions, whether it was the decisions on objections, whether it was the decision not to let in certain witnesses that the defense wanted to call?
All of the above. The verdict is a necessary and probable consequence of everything that happens up to that point. So that includes jury selection, It includes evidentiary rulings. I was in the courtroom or the overflow room 4 different days. Shannon, it wasn't just the result of Judge Merchan's rulings. The tone of his voice was different depending on which side was doing the objecting. So, look, I said a week ago, juries usually get it right based on the information they're given. When you don't get to hear from an FEC expert, when you hear both proximity and propensity evidence against the defendant. And by that, I mean, he was close to 2 people who were guilty, therefore he...
Yes, a different judge will do the appeal, of course. You probably will not see an appeal before the end of 2024. This is what the Democrats wanted. They don't care. They don't care. They're probably going to tell the judge not to put him in prison. All they want is to say he's a felon, a convicted felon. Now he's a convicted felon. So no matter whether he gets appealed or not, the damage is done. Even if he appeals and he wins, they're still going to use the term convicted felon. He's anyone who thinks that this is good for Trump, you don't understand politics. You don't understand the American public. This is not good. Leroy said it. If he wins, he goes up. If he loses, he goes up. I completely disagree. In no way, shape, or form do I believe that Donald Trump goes up in the polls after this. The push was that there was a witch hunt. It galvanized his base. It galvanized the Republican Party. We know this because we saw the polls. This doesn't help the middle of the road voter. The middle of the road voter goes, oh, what happened? Donald Trump is convicted of this? Oh, well, they were right about him. They're not going to research. People don't even start watching politics. Most of America, it's not us. I mean, you guys, we're all built different. But most people don't really get involved until like August. About 3 months before the election, they start looking. Some people don't look at all. This doesn't help Trump. And you guys may think that it does, but it doesn't. The left now have the narrative. The narrative is he's guilty of J6, but they won't let us get to it. He's guilty of the document scandal. They won't let us get to it. He raped E. Jean Carroll. They won't let us get to it. Now they have the narrative. Now they shift focus off Biden, and now they've got a target that they can hit. Just like J6 gave them everything they wanted for the last 4 years to go ahead and wash away the summer of love and BLM, not in our minds, but the general public. Now they have something that they can say, we told you he was a felon. We told you he was Hitler. We told you he would. I'm not going to read comments tonight because you all been wrong about everything. So anyone who's like, oh, you're wrong. You know what? You come here for a reason. You come here because I'm right. So just listen to me on this. You can't create more of a base that isn't there. Do you understand? We had one of the highest election counts in 2020. 2022 Republicans came out. We've got the base galvanized. You are talking about 7% of the middle. 7% of the middle. The poll that went out for the 7% of the people who are possibly going to swing one way or another, 61% of them said a conviction would either sway their vote negatively considerably or somewhat. That is a very dangerous thing. It's not about your vote, Gerald. It's not about my vote. He had it. He didn't lose it. He does it. He can't win with just Republicans. He can't win with just his base. We learned this lesson in 2020. He has to expand his base. He's got to get the suburban women. He's got to get the black vote. He's got to get the Hispanic vote. He's got to bring in the middle of the road. We got to get the people who are not never Trumpers, but who are not pro-Biden, but are somewhere in the middle. We've got to get that group. You have got to steal votes away from Joe Biden and put them in your win column. This is not going to have a good impact. Now, the good news is this. It's 6 months away from the election, so there's a lot of news cycles between now and then. There's a ton of news cycles between now and then. Let's go ahead and get to Trump talking, and we'll go from there.
For the worst.
prosecutor and a judge. My job was to make sure that the guilty were convicted.
Oh, he's pissed.
And to make sure that their people's civil liberties weren't taken away. I understand the president's coming out.
Okay. Yeah, Judge, if you'll hold on just a second.
Sure.
We see President Trump now. He is walking out. Let's listen.
Trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. But the real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here. You have a Soros-backed DA and the whole thing. We didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man, and it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end and we'll win, because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess. We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now from prisons and from mental institutions, terrorists, and they're taking over our country. We have a country that's in big trouble. But this was a rigged decision right from day one, with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case, never. And we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
Why should voters vote for a convicted felon?
Are you going to drop that out? You believe in the rule of law? You trust the jury? Are you going to drop that right here?
Yeah, so I'm not in the mood to give my resume and my track record. So you're wrong. Okay, I'm wrong. You can't even spell "your" correctly. I mean, seriously, how can I take you seriously when you can't even figure out the difference between Y-O-U-R and Y-O-U''re? Seriously, but you know everything. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong because there's nothing to be right or wrong about. It's simply facts. You're talking 225 plus years of precedent that the country doesn't like bad news. And the country feels like they want to back a winner. And most presidential elections are based on backing a winner. And whether you like that or not, it doesn't matter. People don't vote for who they hate. They're inspired to vote for who they like. And you can see that the last three elections that we're going to have are going to be some of the most negative overall destructive, horribly rated people in the United States, depending upon which side of the party you're on. Hillary Clinton was despised. Donald Trump came in. They voted Hillary out more than they voted Donald Trump in. Jill Stein handed the election to him. 2020, people weren't happy with COVID. They weren't happy with the lockdowns. They punished Trump. They went with Biden. They believe the narrative. And we saw 50 million mail-in ballots thrown into the system. We saw states' constitutions altered and changed by judges. You will not see those many. You will not see 167 million people vote this election. I promise you that. And when it's only 124 to 130, wow, is that going to be the day? What happened to those other 40, 50 million votes? We all know what happened to them. So now in 2024, you have another election where Joe Biden is extremely unpopular. Donald Trump is extremely unpopular, depending upon which side of the aisle you're in. This doesn't help him. This is going to rally his base like crazy. Like Republican support, Republicans will probably try to come home now. But the problem is you look at the neoconservatives. You got Nikki Haley, who's running in primary. She got 19% in Texas. Those people are not going to vote for Donald Trump. He has to bring those home. This just gives them more cannon fodder to say, I'm not voting for Trump because he's a felon. Those people we need. You can sit here and say you don't want them, but that's not the way it works. Oh, we don't need DeSantis supporters. We don't need Nikki Haley. If we say that, we're going to lose. So if you think this is a good thing, it's a good thing for the base. It is not a good thing for those who are on the precipice of not showing up to vote, or are thinking about going with Nikki Haley or DeSantis as a write-in, or Mickey Mouse. So you can say you're wrong, and that's fine, and spell it incorrectly. That's fine. But I'm going to put my analysis against yours any day of the week. You just decided to walk into my thread and to be like, oh, you're wrong. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. No offense. I with all due respect. And I'm not in the mood to kiss people's ass and say, oh, yeah, your opinion is valid. No, it's not. If you could have your own show if it was valid. So do some research. Look at poll numbers for 40 years. Work on campaigns. Have a show where you make predictions and you go ahead and tell us what to think. Otherwise, just blow it out your ass, because nobody's buying your what you're selling. There's nobody on the planet who thinks that this is a good thing. And if they do, they don't understand what this will look like tomorrow morning. Every single paper in the nation, Donald Trump is a felon. Every country in the world sees that an American president has been charged with felonies and is a convicted felon. This doesn't look good, folks. You need to get every single voter of voting age who is not a liberal and a conservative, libertarian, neoconservative, I don't care, and you need them to vote. But right now, this isn't going to be a good thing. That's not what you want to hear. You want to hear it's going to be okay, and this is okay, and it's going to get appealed. No, the chances of this being appealed before the 2024 election are slim to none. They will slow roll this now. They forced this through, and now they're going to slow roll. You think the state of New York and district court is going to rush this? Do you think the Supreme Court is going to jump down and save him and do an emergency case to go ahead and hear this? No. This is what they wanted. I've been telling you this. This is exactly what they were looking for. They wanted to say, you're a convicted felon, Donald Trump. I guarantee this is going to be the thing. You're going to see his photo. Felon, New York Times, Los Angeles Times, convict. That's all they want. So, with respect, let's keep it in perspective. Let's listen to what Fox has to say.
Any questions? Has been his practice as he's been speaking here at the courthouse. And remember, he's been under gag order for this trial as well, which has been, it's been stretched, I think, to its limits at sometimes. There have been findings by the judge that there have been violations.
What do I think the judge will do in this sentence? He's going to throw the frickin' book at him. He's going to hit him with everything they got. But remember, but then he may get the call not to, right? So just understand this. The only thing they wanted was a conviction before the election. That's all. I can't express this enough. Even if it was one count, it would have been good enough. They just wanted to say he's a felon. That's it. Because you know what people are going to think? They're not going to think, oh, well, this is the hush money case. They're going to think he's guilty of J6, of the document scandal. People don't think like us. They don't stay in touch like we do. They're going to hear Donald Trump's guilty, and they're immediately going to say all the things that they've ever said about him, all the things that they've ever claimed are true. Whether you understand this or not, this is a massive publicity win for the Democrats. Oh, Matt, this is going to galvanize our base. Our base was already galvanized. Don't you think an extra $11,000 out of our bank accounts a year galvanized us? Don't you think the witch hunt and the 93 freaking indictment, or 93 charges and the 4 different indictments, do you think that galvanized us? Don't we think Joe Biden and what Hunter's got away with and the document scandal? Don't you think weaponizing of the FBI and the DOJ? Aren't we already galvanized? Yeah, you can't galvanize anymore. Galvanize is a solid state. You're either solid or you're not. Well, we're solid. So how does this galvanize us anymore? What this does is this also gives the Democrats the talking points. Go look at Twitter. It's going to be all over. Pictures. There will be 1 million tweets a minute on this topic for the next week. Every blue check mark who is Democrat will use this, just like we used, well, you guys, I didn't use it, I refuse, the mugshot of Donald Trump. Just like the right used that as a marketing tool. They're going to fundraise $50 million this month off of this alone. Mark my words, Democrats, 78 to $91 million raised this quarter. Screw that. I give it a 30 days. Every single email is going to be hit. We have to keep the felon out of the White House. I mean, so if you think this is a good thing, it's not. Now, the good news is this. It's 6 months away. There's a lot of news cycles between then and now. And people will come back to reality. Okay? People will come back to reality. But right now, it's who can spin this the best. Donald Trump will fundraise off this. He'll do well. But the Democrats, man, they feel vindicated. And you're going to hear that every minute of the day for the next 6 months. Okay? Our country is a mess. Now what? That's a great question. I'll keep providing as much insight as I can to this type of stuff and give you my honest account. You need to vote, and you need to bring 10 people to the polls. And not only do you need to vote for a federal election, you need to vote state and local. You need to run for city council. You need to be on the school board. You need to create a group and get poll captain watchers in your town. You need to offer on Facebook to do a ride-along program for voters and tell them on the day of the election day, you will go ahead and drive people to the polling station. You've got to do your part. You should call your senator, your governor, your Congress people right now in your state and say, you have to speak up for Donald Trump. Every single person. But see, the problem is that people don't want what's hard. They want what's easy. So what now? Nothing. Nobody's going to do anything. Nobody's going to do a thing. And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just being as honest as I can be. The judge is going to throw the book at him because why? He's guilty on all counts. It's not like he was guilty on one little thing, or he's guilty on all counts. 34 charges, 100% guilty. Now he'll throw the book at him because he can say, well, there's no past, but look at, there is a past. We have a civil trial in New York with E. Jean Carroll. We've got January 6th committee, which said he was guilty, even though he's not. Listen, don't listen to me as a liberal and that I'm defending them. I'm telling you what they're going to say. They tried to take him off the ballot in 21 different states. They stopped that process. The Supreme Court, his Supreme Court that's in his pocket, the one who took your right to have an abortion and vilified you for wanting reproductive care. He has flagrantly abused the jurors, the judges, the investigators, the prosecutors, the state of New York. He has sat out there and defamed us as we had to muzzle him. He has no, he's not demonstrating anything about repent. He's not showing any contrition. He's not sorry for what he did in his transgressions. This judge has everything he needs from a talking point standpoint to throw the book at Donald Trump. This is why this was so dangerous. This is why this is unfreaking real. But if you think what I just said isn't going to happen, and he's not going to bring up all these things, because Donald Trump's not going to say he's sorry. And that is the one thing about the rule of law. When you're found guilty of something, if you don't show contrition, if you don't show ownership, you are going to get effed. Effed. Anybody who's had a drunk driving charge or a speeding ticket or in divorce court, if you don't show some sort of ownership, you're going to get the book thrown at you. This is the way it works. What do we do now? Listen, nothing changes. You still go to work tomorrow. You still hug your family, because in the end, there's nothing you can do to stop this. This is the judicial system of today. Now, I want to hear the jurors. We will hear from the jurors. I promise you that. They're not going to shut up. They're going to have a Netflix special over this. Some liberal is going to fund it. They want to write their books. And I want to hear why they said, I think what they're going to say is, although there was not any sinew to this, we know how Donald Trump is. And I think you'll get that honest testimony when they're out. Is they'll tell you, yeah, I didn't like him. We didn't like him then. We don't like him now. We heard the TV thing when we were off for a week. We heard all the things that were said. He's in New York, for God's sakes. Everybody knows who Donald Trump is. Everyone has an opinion on Donald Trump in the world. Everybody. To say that you could find a jury of his peers is laughable. It's laughable. Especially in Manhattan. That district was 87% frickin' blue. 87%. The chances of getting somebody on the jury when 13% of the pool isn't even guaranteed a Republican, and you have the ability to challenge these jurors and remove them, you can't get a fair trial there. The jury should have been sequestered. They should have been put under lock and key and not let off for a week. The appeal doesn't matter. He very well may beat the appeal. And you know what? He could. He could. It won't matter. The damage is done. That's what I was trying to tell everybody. The damage is done. Republicans will make a lot off of this, but they were already making a lot off of this. Do you understand? There's only so much that they can give. Listen, people need to understand what this means. Let me ask you a question. If Hunter Biden would have been found guilty and then all of a sudden something would have come up with the document scandal and they said that they were going to go ahead, and it's impossible because he's president, but Biden was found guilty, do you think that helps Biden? Okay, then it doesn't help Trump. This will galvanize and get people to donate, but it will not help him. This is a blow. And you got to, anybody that says it's not, go watch the news right now. Go turn on CNN. They will be talking about this for months. Does the gag order still apply? No. Jury's made their decision. He doesn't have to say anything. He can call them all effing idiots, sons of bitches, and he can do whatever he wants. Gag order should not still apply. For every felon that's able to vote, he's one of them right now. They will appeal this. Yes, Dottie, they will appeal it. But like I said, it won't matter. That's the problem. It won't matter. There's not enough time. They'll appeal it. News says sentencing on July 11, of course. See, they're going to push that as far as they go. Sentencing on July 11th, push it as far as down the road, then appeal. They're going to slow roll the appeal. Can someone please ask Matt on chat, can a new president pardon Trump from being a felon? No. See, this is a state. This is where the 10th Amendment is such a powerful thing, the reserve powers. This is a federal case run by the state, which is also another thing about this. But he can't pardon him for the crime itself. That's not the way it works. So he can't pardon himself, and the current president can't pardon him for this specifically because it's a state grievance. So like he can't go in there and waive the money to E. Jean Carroll. Federally, you can waive pretty much all federal because that's what the president, but the president doesn't override state rule. That's not the way it works. That's the reserve powers of the states. That's the 10th Amendment. The governors can. The governor could of New York, but that's give me a fucking break. that governor like would come out as a truck driving, Kenny Chesney listening, skull chewing, Bible thumping Texan before that chick would ever dismiss a sentence or offer leniency or clemency to Donald Trump. Give me a break. Can a new president pardon Trump? No. Will Nikki accept the offer if she gets it, or does she distance further? That's the real question. They've already had that conversation. I told you that Nikki lends him credibility and stability. If Nikki Haley comes out now and supports Trump and stands by him, that completely exonerates her from her bullshit, and Donald Trump can pick her. Donald Trump needs Nikki Haley now more than ever. I'm just letting you know. You guys may hate me, and it's cool. I respect it. I know you don't like Nikki Haley. I don't care. What I like are numbers and polls. She took 19% in the state of Texas. State of Texas. That's my state. 19% of the vote. Oh, Matt, well, those votes were mail-in ballots. They were all Democrats. Wrong. You don't have to like her. I don't care. She's a woman. She's a minority. And honestly, neocons love her. Right centrists love her. Moderate Democrats love her. And she brings you anywhere from 17 to 23% of the national vote. She brings you suburban women who are not voting for Trump. She brings you rural women, there's not many of them, who are not voting for Trump. She increases the female, exponentially increases the female vote. She brings you college-educated men because they think Nikki Haley's a good-looking woman. And more importantly, she has one of the best abortion policies out of any candidate, and Donald Trump adopted her abortion policy. You may not understand that, but after the debates she had, literally 24 hours later, Donald Trump comes out with his new abortion policy, completely did a 180 on his 2020 and 2016 run of what he said about abortion. So this isn't about Nikki Haley. I don't give a shit about Nikki Haley. I care about him winning. That's all I care about. I just want the W. I don't care how we get the assist or the points, or if there's some guy on the other team who beat up one of our star forwards, so therefore we're going to hold a grudge and not win the Stanley Cup because this person's grumpy. Fuck that. Put him on the team. Go get him. The guy who stops us from winning every year, go get him on our team so we can go ahead and get a double whammy. You get Nikki Haley on there, you keep the current votes. No MAGA is going to fucking not vote for Donald Trump because Nikki Haley. They'll say that. Never Nikki. If Donald Trump came out right now and said, I need Nikki Haley, she's the one, this, whatever, we ran a contentious election, but she's the best choice. She brings Americans together. Let's do this. Let's rock and roll. You're going to soothe a lot of this because Nikki Haley has some gravitas with people. You don't have to like it. It doesn't matter. Do you want to win or do you want to go home? So would Nikki Haley stand by Trump? Most assuredly. She knew what was coming. Everyone knew what was coming. Everyone knew there was a very big chance that at least one of these counts was going to be a conviction. She came out and endorsed him for that reason. They had a conversation. They had a talk. You know they did. He came out and said those nice things about her right afterwards. He's not calling her bird brain or calling her a cheater anymore. Just slow down. He cannot pardon himself. That's not the way it works. Not from a state crime. That's not true. Not from a state crime. If he is found guilty in a state's court of law, he cannot pardon himself for that. Dottie, right? Dottie, not Dottie. Dottie. I know he can't, and he shouldn't apologize, but you don't understand. If you don't show contrition in court, you're going to get crucified. He's not going to. I didn't say he should. I'm just letting you know the facts. He can pardon himself when he gets elected in 2024. It's not true. Not for a state conviction. That's not the way it works. Are they physically going to arrest him? See, that's Michelle. Yeah, if the judge says jail time. Now, they were not going to arrest him right on the spot, but they'll take him into custody for sure. during sentencing, if he's, it starts immediately. It's the way it works. Now, this is the president of the United States. And we need to keep things as clear in our mind as possible. Do I foresee him going to prison? No, but I didn't foresee this either. I think we all knew it was possible. But in the back of your mind, you give hope against hope that justice will follow through and do its job, right? Britton says, I've been in and out of this feed. I'm sure this has been addressed. But I see no path for Trump now. Republican Party can't nominate a convicted felon as their presidential candidate. Whoever gets the nomination, everyone will need to get behind the Republican candidate. If people do stupid crap like writing Trump's name in, we'll only split the vote, ensure another 4 years of Biden. Be smart, people. I think we need to, let's not put the cart before the horse. I think there is a very good chance, but Donald Trump's going to be the nominee. This doesn't disqualify him from running for president. And yes, they can put a convicted felon on the ticket because he's already on the ticket. He's winning every primary. He is going to be the Republican nominee. I don't foresee the RNC backing out of this. This, like Biden is strapped, blanketed, and healed. Trump is strapped, blanketed, and healed. They're on their ponies. The race is being ran. And as stupid as it would be to get rid of Biden and put in somebody else, it would be very stupid to get rid of Trump and put in somebody else. This is not going to change the Republican voters. They're going to have to get the pundits talking, to get the podcasters talking, to have Trump on every interview as possible. He doesn't have to stay in New York now. Now he can go out and campaign, and he has to control the narrative as well as he always does. Trump will find a way to control the narrative on this. He will find a way to spin it. Let's just have a little bit of faith. Arnold says, ha, ha, ha. Yeah, my friend, I've been paying attention to this corrupt crap for 20 years. I'm not a quitter. I just see what's going on. I'll be home cleaning my shit. They've been taking advantage of us for years, and nobody pays attention as long as they have Netflix and Pinterest. They're fine. I'm going to prep and take care of mine. Great. They got more than that, unfortunately. Bless you, buddy. Stay awake. Have a good day. All right, Arnold. CBS is saying that they will most likely give him probation and fines, and he could still vote in Florida as a felon, not in prison. Yeah, listen. A lot of people didn't think that he was going to be guilty either. So we don't know. This judge, has this judge done anything that remotely makes anyone feel that he will follow the restraints and the confines of the law that he is sworn to uphold? No. So why would he change it in the sentencing? Do you think FJB is going to make an announcement? You know what? I will tell you right now, Joe Biden would be stupid to make an announcement right now. He used that to control the news cycle. If he comes on live, I think it will steal momentum from Trump, because all it's going to do is validate Trump's comments that this was a Joe Biden hit job. Joe Biden and his presidency would be fucking stupid to say anything about this. We're not going to comment on the state of New York's decision. That is up for the state of New York, and a jury of his peers have found him guilty. We wish the former president the best of luck in sentencing on July 11th. And we're moving on to more pressing issues. That's the answer. And that's the only answer. You'll say, look. See, KGB will, look. She'll say, look. That's also a part of the answer. Look. I just want to be really clear here. But that's the answer. We wish the former president the best of luck during his sentencing. We're moving on. So there it is. It would be stupid for Biden to make. I didn't say he's not going to do it. I just said it would be stupid. Like if I was running his campaign, I would strap him down with duct tape to a chair and tell him not to move and give him the biggest vitamin B shot possible and get him freaky deaky with Jill or something. I would not allow that guy to speak. Because if you do it, people are going to go, wait a second, why is Joe Biden talking? Why is Joe Biden there? Wait a second. Trump said that this is Joe Biden owned and signed, sealed, and delivered. And all you do is validate that. I don't mind Nikki. Good, Whitney. She took 21% in Indiana. Yeah. Trace says, I'm telling everybody that's making comments that we do not get Donald Trump as president again. We are very much screwed because the Democrats. Listen, Tracy, I'm not going to read all that, but I already can tell you I probably agree with everything you're saying. You and I do not disagree. I am an avid Trump supporter. I've been a Trump supporter. I've been hard on him when he's wrong. I've challenged him. I think a lot of this is self-inflicted that he's done. And you know, we got to be honest. He's not the most cooperative human being when it comes to the law. Okay. Anyone who says he's not, he had a court order from NARA and a warrant to return documents. He didn't. And he's just stubborn. He's a businessman. He is a billionaire. He's used to getting his own way, and he was the president of the United States. And honestly, good for him. But he does buck the tiger a little bit, just a little bit. It's hard to feel empathy when you don't like him. I certainly feel empathy for him. I feel some sympathy at times. Now, you know what? I don't pity him because I don't think he's deserving of pity. That's a horrible feeling to feel towards somebody. I have empathy towards him. I align with the position he's in and understand what it feels like to be charged with something that you're not guilty of. But I also know what it feels like to beat it. So I'm living proof you can beat it. So I'm not gonna read all that. But maybe I'll go back later tonight and read it. Deborah says he should pick Nikki Haley. Yeah. That's true on abortion, Matt. I just said that. I believe she did. I mean, we have compromised somewhat, and hers did the least damage. I understand the Nikki Haley thing, but she will stick to him with his conviction, or she'll distance herself now was the question. He needs her. I don't believe Nikki Haley will distance herself because, listen, this was on the eve of the trial closing down anyway, and she endorsed him. That was done on purpose. Y'all know they kept Nikki as far away from the primary so they could just let that go numb. There were wounds that were very fresh. MAGA was very upset with Nikki Haley. They didn't like her. Nikki Haley supporters didn't like Trump, so they just let that wound heal a little bit, right? Then she came out at the last possible moment and endorsed him because she couldn't do it right now because then it looks like, you know, so she did a few days before. Folks, this is all this shit is all decided by people like me, people who have worked with campaign better than me, 10 times better than me. But they've worked in political campaigns. They understand the processes. They're marketers. They're public relations folks, the stuff that I did for a living. They're much better than me, or I would have a job. People always say, oh, you should go work for Trump. You know what? Trump should hire me. Obviously, he doesn't because I'm not good enough. That's fine. Matt, I'm with you 100% about Haley. Thanks, Maddie. The question is, who do you want to win? Well, the answer is simple, right? And you're right. That's Dave. There is no other question. And I think Trump supporters don't care if it's Nikki Haley, if it's Ben Carson, whoever gives him the chance to win. And honestly, right now, it's either DeSantis or Haley. Because all the other voters are going to vote for him. Byron Donalds, you're going to vote for him. Carrie Lake, going to vote for him. Ben Carson, those are MAGA supporters. They're all going to vote for him. Tom Cotton's an interesting one. I've heard Tom Cotton. I don't mind that. That's not a bad decision. Tom Cotton is very articulate, very smart, and he brings in a part of the Republican Party that isn't necessarily MAGA. There's a lot of MAGA supporters for Tom Cotton. I'm just saying there's a lot of people who are not who would vote for him. But the female vote, that brings the female voters home. Remember, this is so simple. Let's not make this complicated. He needs 4% of the male vote and 3% of the female vote that he didn't get in 2020, that he got in 2016, that he needs to get now. 7% of the vote is what he needs. That's all he needs, and he wins. He needs to take that 3 and 4% from Biden, and Biden loses. That is what we're fighting for, 7% of the vote. In 2016 to 2020, he didn't gain any men, and he didn't gain any women. But Biden did. And that's the problem. And we know why. It's what happens when you send out 50 million ballots. That won't be happening this time. So you have to say, has Joe Biden gained in popularity and vote count based upon his performance? The answer is fuck no. But has Donald Trump? And the answer is probably, we don't know. Pardon my language. Appreciate everybody being on. I haven't eaten dinner. It was important to do this. By the way, folks, linktapgo.com/thedumshow. For the people who were on Wimkin, we had 22,000, 25,000 views last night. It's crushing. We're going to get it stabilized. We're going to figure it out. But folks, this show is 100% funded. We're not paid for by the RNC, Donald Trump, or anyone else. This is funded by us. More importantly, now you. Since Facebook has taken away a large portion, about 90% of our revenue, we're in a position where we've asked y'all to help. linktapgo.com/thedumshow. You can go there and tip directly. Your name will pop up like everybody is right now. And if you go ahead and do that through PayPal, by email, you can do that and I'll see it and I'll go ahead and give you a big thank you. So anything helps, folks. Anything helps. Take care of your family first. Take care of your loved ones' birthdays. Don't give me your retirement. I appreciate you. More importantly, don't give till it hurts. Give till it feels good. I want to thank John for picking up the Documents of Freedom. I appreciate you. Very nice of you. That helps. Got some comments on Rumble. Appreciate all of you too, but unfortunately can't talk right now. All right. Violet says they'll for sure arrest him to give their voter base exactly what they wanted for months, years, and it will be blasted on every news site. I don't know. See, I got to think about that, Violet, because I know it sounds good because we're kind of negative right now, but I don't think, I think getting him convicted is enough. I don't think they want a picture of an ex-American president in handcuffs, because then that changes every deal he's made. That changes trade negotiations, any peace deals he's made, the Abraham Accords, the decision on Jerusalem. It allows countries to say, we're not going to honor what Donald Trump said. He's a convicted felon. We won't listen to him. You guys, we got to be careful here, right? The United States government wants to win an election, of course. The Democrats want to win, but they don't want to cut their nose to spite their face, right? The one thing we can always count on the Democrats. They will do what's in the best interest of Democrats. I don't know if putting him in handcuffs and throwing him in prison is the best interest in turning him into a martyr and Nelson Mandela. They want to take it to the edge and then just walk away. Make sense? Matt, could you see the judge putting him on house arrest so that he can't campaign? Sure. Of course. I see the judge throwing the book at him. Once again, this judge has demonstrated nothing to the contrary. Angel says the RNC needs to stand up against this bullshit. Yeah. It doesn't take him off the ballot. No, and it doesn't stop him from running. It's 100. There is nothing in the Constitution about 25th Amendment except for high crimes and misdemeanor. And this is not a high crime. This is a state crime. This isn't even a crime. Trump got this. He will not back down. I don't believe he will either. Just remember, if anyone tells me this is all part of the plan, I'm going to puke. This is not all a part of the plan. This is the plan showing that there is no plan. Somebody get Lasaya Davy, ban her, please. Get her out of here. She's a bot. Lasaya, Lesai. I'm sure the mods already got her, but hit her. Get her out of here. I don't know that Biden can keep his mouth shut over this. Hopefully he spouts off. Yeah, I mean, that'd be great. I would love it. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind in comments. There's a lot of people commenting. By the way, folks, 75 people liked it so far. Please like the feed. We had 290 some odd people in here. Just all you got to do is hit like on Rumble, on Twitter, on YouTube. Please hit the like button for gosh sakes. Come on now. I'm missing dinner. My family's eating dinner and I'm in here. Question, could the judge restrict his travels as terms of sentencing? Sure. He could put him on state-mandated parole. The judge can do whatever he wants now. He's guilty. You may not like to hear that, but that's the case. See, as much as I said he was innocent until proven guilty, he's been proven guilty. Whether it's bullshit, it doesn't matter. I'm talking about the law. You're talking about emotions. The law states he's guilty. Now he has to appeal so he can be exonerated. But the chances of that happening before 2024 are slim, 0 to none. I saw Ben Carson speak at my parents' church Sunday, first stop on his book tour. He's a smart man. I like him. He's gained in the minority votes, but that still won't be enough. That's correct. Stephanie, that's correct. Because he's lost in educated college males too. He's got to bring in somebody who is educated, who is smart, who is polished. We all know who it is. You may not like it, but that's the case. And I've only said it for 4 years. Folks, I don't play checkers. I looked at the cases. I looked at what they were going to do. I told you they were going to come after him and they were going to break him financially and then they're going to try to criminally convict him. I told you this 4 years ago. I told you Trump was going to have such a freaky heavy burden on him when it came to these court cases that it was going to crush him. I told you this. I told you what Biden's presidency was going to look like. I was right about that. I told you what was going to happen in 2022. We haven't won anything since 2016. Republicans are bleeding over this. You got to just listen to me because I don't have an axe to grind. I don't have any political loyalties. I'm a conservative, but I'm not a Republican anymore. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a liberal. I am a constitutionalist. I just believe in the Constitution, and I'm going to go with the party who believes in the Constitution. And the one thing I love about Donald Trump, minus that he has done some things against the Constitution, is he's the most qualified based on performance to protect the Constitution of these United States. But I don't have any loyalty to Nikki Haley. I don't have any loyalty to Vivek Ramaswamy. I don't have any loyalty to DeSantis. I don't have any loyalty to Youngkin. I like Trump. I like Nikki Haley. I like Ramaswamy sometimes. But I also dislike all of them sometimes too. This is the only show where you're not going to get spin. I don't fucking spin stuff. I just tell you what I think based upon my experience of analyzing this stuff ad nauseum and being that couch guy who is on his phone and his iPad and computer and just reads and reads and reads and understands and then goes and lifts and gets his aggression out and then comes out and spews it all to you. There's no spin here. I don't have time for it. I don't have time to lie to you. I don't have enough viewers to risk being wrong. Speaking of that, you guys got to like the show, please. JD says, ladies in chat, please lower the temperature. Many of us in here are in a place of discomfort with this. Yeah, everyone calm the frack down. We don't need to be feeding on each other. Q from YouTube about putting Trump on house arrest. I answered it. I pray you're right, Matt. Well, you know. Yeah, of course the sentencing is right before the national convention. This whole thing has been timed. Reading comments, folks. New t-shirt, a felon is still a better choice than Brandon. Yeah, it's not a bad shirt. I still won't make any money off his mugshot. I refuse. Absolutely refuse. I haven't made one dime off of it. In fact, I've never even shown it on my page. Somebody get Lasaya Davy, please. Thanks, Matt. Just tried to get me to friend her. Yeah, take her out, please. Got it. Good, Amy. This is definitely not the effing plan for sure. Amen. I'm not going to guarantee a prison sentence, but based off the actions of the judge and the hatred of the left, I'm not going to rule out at least 6 to 12 month sentence to push past the election. You don't need it. They got what they wanted. Convicted felon. Every commercial, man, they've already got them made. You will see commercials running right now. If you go to CNN, they will have paid for by the Democrat National Committee, blah, 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 against Donald Trump. That is coming. They've already made them. Biden was planning on making some address to the nation when the verdict came out. He was planning on it. Trump can campaign from his area of confinement. Really, he'll make it work. If Joe Biden can run from his basement, Donald Trump can run from... If I was Donald Trump, I'd want them to throw me in jail and put on an ankle cuff. That's what I would want. I would want the worst possible scenario at this point because you need to change the narrative. And you need to become the victim. The good news is, folks, is America doesn't like a bully. They didn't like it against Nixon when they impeached him. They didn't like it on Bill Clinton when they impeached him. And they didn't like it when they impeached Trump twice and almost tried to do it a third time. All of their poll numbers went up. I don't believe, listen, I could be wrong. Donald Trump's poll numbers from moderates could go through the roof. And if it does, I'll eat crow. I believe his poll numbers will go up with the base. I believe Republicans, centrist Republicans, will go up. I'm talking overall. I'm talking about the undecideds. I'm talking about the people who actually decide the election. It's only 7% of the United States that decide the election every effing year. You can go back to Grover Cleveland, for God's sakes. You can go back to Burr. You You can go back to Hamilton, and I will tell you, it's always 7% of the population. I don't know why. I don't know what to tell you. That's the way it is. Joe did this from his basement. That's true. We all should have known this was going to happen to Trump when he decided to run again. Right. Yeah. Definitely true. Matt does tell viewers what they doesn't. But then again, most of the viewers are here for the brutal honesty. It's not brutal if it's honest. I don't know. Folks, remember, you did have a choice to vote for DeSantis. I'm just letting you know. You had a choice. I presented him to you. I gave you the truth. I told you they're going to come out and hit his credibility. They're going to make fun of his height. They did all that. But you had the most conservative candidate to run in the last 50 years. Ron DeSantis. And we said no. So here it is. Matt, why do you think the Democrats hate Trump so much? What exactly are they afraid of, in your opinion? Because he is, okay, this is the best question we could possibly have right now. And I will tell you, why does the left hate Trump? It's easy. Because he's unflappable. He will not curtail to them. And they will destroy and cancel anyone who will not toe the line for them. And if you look at every Republican, every single one of them have placated the left. We followed them on abortion. We followed them on gay marriage. We followed them on the LGBTQ movement. We followed them on BLM. Nobody stood up. Republicans should have condemned and went after every single frickin' leader who supported the BLM movement or bailed these people out or convinced them to go out there and do these things. Every single one of them should have been tried and convicted. Republicans lost it. Hillary Clinton, they should have kept going after her. They didn't. Republicans are absolutely the one thing that Republicans love more than being conservatives is sucking up to liberals. And they do it all the time. Why do they hate him? Because he will not conform and give an inch at all. He will not say the things that they want him to say. And he is the only president, the only Republican who is completely unflappable. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she bends. She voted for Kevin McCarthy. Boebert, she bends. Name one Republican who stuck to their guns. You can't. You can't. You can go to Massey, he's bent. You can go to Cotton, he's bent. You can go to every Republican. Donald Trump will not bend. Now, he may go ahead and compromise, or he might go ahead and reverse decisions on legislation. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the narrative where, hey, you got to go ahead and condemn the NFL because they won't support Colin Kaepernick. Donald Trump's like, the fuck I will. You got to believe that a man can be a woman, a woman can be a man. No, I will not. Hey, you got to believe that indoctrination of our children is okay. No, I will not. Donald Trump, when it comes to this, formulates his opinion and refuses to give the left what they want. And he calls them out for their stupidity. They don't like that. Oh my God, flowy tank top. I can't get them. I tried. They only have regular tank tops on my site. Sorry. Once again, folks, we're 100% donation based. If you have not had a chance, we would sure appreciate it. If you can, help us out. We are looking to continue the show and give it to you as best we can. Also, thedumbclub.com is another opportunity. If I'm going to come on at 7, I got to get off and get some food. All I can picture of Brandon campaigning is that maybe 10, 15 Biden supporters, one older lady blocking out everyone, that big Trump flag. I don't know what that means. Trump won't kiss their butt. He's a threat to the left. Well, of course he's a threat. But I'll tell you what, this doesn't help Donald Trump. All right, we're going to watch this for just 2 more seconds, and then I got to go.
He was right. It's helped with fundraising. You mentioned their website is down right now. Has it been crashed because people showed up there and responded to their text calling for fundraising? It's helped him in the polling.
Alvin Bragg's going to speak. All right, folks, listen, I got to go. I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll see if I'm going to be on tonight. I'll do my best. I think we should. The question is, can I get a show together? Hang tight. Remember, if you haven't had a chance, go to linktap.go/the dumb show. Help us out. And we will see you guys hopefully at 7 o'clock. I'll let you know. Bye.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.